Okay, everyone, Sookie, everyone. All right, this is my dog, and she is 13 or 14. Oh boy, I don't know. All right, so let's see. Let's. Oh, what is this tool I'm using? Let's just use. Yeah. Okay, so let's white balance, and let's first use the capture one convert negative tool. By the way, I'm just jumping right in. At this point, if you're watching this video, it's either because you got algorithmed or because you've been following along the playlist. So I'm just going to assume you've been watching the playlist. If you haven't, then go watch the playlist. Okay, so was that rude? I don't know. Okay, so let's just hit the capture one. Oh, wait, before I hit the capture one convert negative button, let's clone it so we have our own to work with. Okay, now convert. And that looks all right. On my screen, it looks a little magenta. By the way, I don't think I've said this so far, but I use sRGB. I don't use Adobe Color or any of the other color spaces. I use sRGB, and that's probably going to seem silly to most of you, but that's the like general color setting most people have on their screens, and so that's what I edit mine with. When I want to print, I usually just use sRGB also, but if I can get a hold of that printer's actual color profile, then yeah, if I'm gonna print it all. Anyway, all right, that was a tangent. On my screen, I'm using sRGB color, and this is actually a TV, not a computer monitor. So the color might be slightly off, but it's pretty good. I don't know. So anyway, I think if you're seeing what I'm seeing, it's a little bit magenta. And we got to tune that out, or we can do it by hand. So let's first just try tuning it out a little. And that's going all right. It's a little on the cool side, but that's okay. We can fix that too. I think that's about the right amount of magenta removal. And then as for warming, I think that's about the right amount. That looks pretty good. Sookie looks happy. All right. So yes, Sookie from True Blood. Sookie from True Blood. I don't know if you watched that show, but yes, that's her namesake, Sookie Stackhouse. All right, so this looks pretty good. I mean, honestly, I don't even feel the need to mess with it much, but I am. Oops, let's put another. Then we can brighten up the mids just a hair. Yeah, that looks pretty good. A little saturation didn't hurt. Yeah, I would just be done with that. But this wouldn't be a how to convert your color negative by hand video if I didn't do it myself. So let's do that. All right, so I cloned this from that one, so it's already white balanced, same crop, and usually you've seen in my past videos that I like to crop out the sky. I think I'm going to try it both ways just for fun. So we'll do this one. Yeah, we'll do this one the usual way. Let's do that first. We'll crop out the sky. And now, yeah, much cleaner, much cleaner. Do you see that? Look how much, look at just extra noise in there. It's just so, like, we don't need that. It's such a harder target to hit, like Jean-Claude Van Damme. All right, now let's get the green channel into place. Oh, actually, let's first convert it to film negative. Okay, there we go. And the exposure looks fine where it is. So turn off that. Okay, so let's get the green in the right place. So slide that guy over, and then I'm going to ignore these bits. And I think I am about on. You know, it doesn't really matter how on I am, as long as I align the other two to it, it should be fine. So bullseye. That one lined up nice. I like it when that happens. Okay, now for the blue. Of course, it's not going to work. When I move it this way, it's going to shift. And I think about here-ish. Let's call that good. All right. So now we can back off on the crop. Or even, I like to include the frame border, the film border in my photos. I mean, I shot film. I deserve a badge, right? So this is my badge. Ta-da, look at me, I shot film. Okay, so now let's line up the output where we like it. And let's not go too crazy with the highlights because we want some fall off there. Now we're really bringing out the vignetting on my lens. This was, I can tell right now, this is the telltale mark. This is my Fuji GW690. It has a fixed lens in it. It's not interchangeable, but I love that camera. It's a 90mm f3.5, I think, which is 90mm is normal because this is a 6x9 film or 6x9 format, so it's rather large. So 90mm is like your 45-ish millimeter, and for those of you that think in full frame. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Let's give a little saturation. Still it's starting to look a little funny up there in the blues. Just looks a little bit yeah, that looks better, but there's still something going on in here. Is that? Oh yeah, see, there's the magenta in here, and that funny magenta. See, now I didn't even see it before. I had like the beer goggle equivalent for like editing too long in Capture One, but then you look at another photo. Oh, see, now this looks green to me, but when I come back and like, oh, okay, this looks like the right, maybe slightly more magenta, but so. Yeah, that's funny how your brain does that. You know what I really ought to do is just take both of these photos with the same crop and then bring them both into Photoshop. Actually, I don't use Photoshop anymore. I use, what is it called? Affinity by Canva. I've gotten rid of Photoshop. That's another video. All right, anyway. Bring both of these into two different layers on Photoshop and then just blend them together. That's what I ought to do. Honestly, because that would probably come out perfect. All right, so let's see. Well, actually, so that we're clicking back and forth, let's go and copy the crop. into this one to be the same. So that way we can do that nice click back and forth. So yeah, so mine, I think I like the color of the midtones better on the Capture One version that I fiddled with a little. And then I like the sky better and the little bit of shadow range better on mine as it's more true. I mean, shadows do tend to have a blue cast, so that's kind of what we'd expect. But this is too magenta, so I could just try to pull the magenta out, but let's work on this one. Okay, so I feel there's a little too much blue, so let's uniformly adjust the blue. Now, see, when I do that, I find it to be too green. So that's because I'm only changing blue. Let's instead, since we're making a uniform change, we can afford to use the white balance a little. And that looks much better. A little more? How far can we push it? A little more? Okay, that's... yeah. I think that's done. But, let's see. I'm going to go back and look at the other one, and I'm going to change my mind. No, that's definitely too magenta. And this is now a little green. Of course, I think it's green because I just looked at a magenta one. I should really force myself to look at a gray card between them. Okay, so this looks pretty good. I'm going to bring up the... so this is the edited by hand version. I'm going to bring up the midtones just a bit. And then maybe... that's too much. And we can clip a little more down here. All right, that's done. I'm not doing any more. Like, it's not like it's the greatest photo in the world or anything. Do I really need to put that much time into it? But this, to me, looks correct. If I go any further, I'm just spending your time for no good reason. Oh, you know, I'm not gonna. That's it. I am done. Have a nice day.